Hi, President Trump. It's Kemi, and I do want you to watch this video. Today is August 11th, 2025, and I'm watching from afar. Today is a very strategic day that I must talk about this story. In 1983, we all came to America to school, and there was a young man by the name of Lucky Okorua. Okoruwa. Lucky Okorua was one of us, and we all came to school in America. Today, I am 61 years old. And what happened on August 11th, 1989 is what you need to hear now, President Trump. You see, we all came with our work permits, our visas, F1, I-20s, everything. And I was in pharmacy school. Part-time, I worked in a drugstore and also at a restaurant as a waitress. We had all our papers. And Lucky will work part-time as a cab driver in Washington, D.C. Around 1989, when I graduated school, I moved to Baltimore, and I had to work at CVS Pharmacy in the D.C. area. Well, Silver Springs, bordering D.C. So a lot of times I saw all this crime going on. I want to commend you today for taking over D.C., for the federal takeover of D.C. police. It is long awaited. President Trump, August 11, 1989, just like everybody went out to do their work, Lucky went out to drive his cab. When Lucky took two young black men to their destination in Sweetland, when they got to that destination, one of them came out of the cab and went inside a house to go get the money, while the other one waited. In assuring that they will get their money, Lucky was waiting. The one in the back now looked at Lucky and said, "Give me all the money you have. Right now, everything there." Lucky said, "Well, you guys owe me money." He didn't have a chance. The guy in the back seat shot him right in the head from the back seat. Lucky Okorua, our friend, our brother, died in DC's violent crimes. In 2000, when I was pregnant with my son will be 25 this year. The year 2000, I was carjacked as a pregnant woman at an ATM in Washington, D.C. I would never forget that event. At the end of the day, the carjacker went to my car, wanted to drive it, but he couldn't drive it because I had a stick shift. And that's the only explanation the police gave. He couldn't reverse, he couldn't do anything because I had a manual stick shift. It was an Acura Integra. And at the end of the day, President Trump, I am so happy and I'm supporting you for taking over Washington, D.C. This is not an overreach of police or law enforcement, but it is needed. There are many people that have died in Washington, D.C., and half of the criminals are juveniles. The whole juvenile thing, I want a gun, I want some drugs, I want this, it's just a spiral thing. It keeps going on and on and on. As we have new children, like I said, I was carjacked while I was pregnant in 2000, and my son will be 25. Those babies that were born that very year are the ones that are doing the crime now. When is the police going to change? When is the police going to do something? Yes, it's not the same police. It's a whole new generation now. And we have social media, which makes everything worse. Keep up the good job. Keep up the good work, President Trump. It is time. Everybody should support the president. He's the peace president. You need peace in Washington, D.C. Every time I turn on the TV on this side of the world, all I see is something has happened in D.C. Two people from the Israeli embassy were killed. A Doge official was beaten so mercilessly. A lot of juveniles are running around. Where are the parents? Are we training those kids? And then we have social media, like I said. It is time to make Washington, D.C. safe again. You can't even live there. And it's the nation's capital. And what President Trump said about Washington, D.C. being a place there world leaders and all these people come to the White House should not be like that. You should be able to go to Washington, D.C. and have a drink or go out for dinner or something without being attacked in a crime. Wake up, everybody. Crime can get to anybody at any time. All right? It's not a matter of, oh, yeah, he's the commander-in-chief. Good job, President Trump. Kemi Olunloyo. Finally, President Trump, it's a somber day for me because waking up and seeing all the headlines and hearing that you've taken over Washington, D.C., the police and everything, it really hits hard because today marks 36 years that Lucky was murdered in D.C. Lucky Okorua was only 20 years old. and he would have been maybe 61 today, but he didn't get a chance. A young black man, a young foreign student who came and was doing cabbie work part-time. And he's not the only one. We lost 3 other Nigerians in the cabbie work in Washington, D.C. Same thing, robberies. Anyone that has been in the Washington Police Department, most of them are probably veterans or retired already, would know about the cabbie robberies in the 80s in Washington, D.C. So marking 36 years of Lucky's death, the current U.S. President, Donald Trump, the peace president, takes over Washington, D.C. police. This is history in the making. This is why we all have to tell our stories. If you're watching me, anybody in Nigeria watching me will know that this is what it's about. Okay? I'm a retired journalist now, and journalism is a rough draft of history. I couldn't help but notice the date. The same day Lucky was killed. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Kemi Olunlayo. Kemi Talks on Facebook.